Hello again, everybody. It's Carron, and today I'm going to answer a question that I had that came up in a chat room for me in reference to my workflow and how I set up some of the different things that I set up on my desktop when I am working at development. So I'm going to use an example here. Everybody is familiar and knows that I use WordPress. And so this screen right here is the login. So normally you would type in your username and password. And this is how I access all of the sites. This is how I begin. I'm just going to go through the process of how I set up my desktop to begin working on a website. So the first thing I do is I come to the backend login area of the website. So I would log in, and that brings me to the dashboard. Once I'm in the dashboard, I hover over the name of the site, which is in the upper left-hand corner, and I right-click and I open that up in another window. So now I've got the two tabs that I'm basically going to be working in, and I'm going to delete this tab here only because it was for an example. So I have the back end, and then I have the front end. And basically what I do is I kind of keep track in my mind where the division is between the back end tabs and the front end tabs. Now, if I were working on, let's say for example, I was going to work on something in Display Buddy, or if I was, let's say I put together a billboard. So I would open up in the back end billboard, and then if I had to go and find images, I might open up a third tab up on the top and maybe go to Google to get some ideas for images. So I might have that tab open. If I were going to be working on custom post types or Loop Buddy, I'm going to use Loop Buddy as my example. When I'm developing with Loop Buddy, I typically have a number of tabs open, but I want to have them open in a location that I can easily get back to. So if I was already working on the billboard area, what I would do is I would scroll down to the Loop Buddy area and I would right click, and I typically go in order of how my brain thinks. So the core settings for Loop Buddy are in the settings, so I would right click and open that up in a tab. And once that comes up, I would click on that and leave that one open, and right click and open the query editor in another tab. And then I would open the query tab and right click on the layout editor and open that one up in another tab. And so now when I'm working on Loop Buddy, I have all of the tabs open that I need to, and I also have the front end open so that I could go to the page that I was working on and refresh it on the front end to see the result and to verify that the end result is what I am after in the first place. So that was just a quick overview of how I set up when I'm getting busy, getting ready to work on a development of any site. And I will typically have at a minimum 4, 5, 6 tabs open and working on all of those pages independently. Keep in mind though, when you are working on them, you don't want to have like 2 layout pages open at the same time. So you do have to come up with a way to organize your tabs in your mind so that you know where to go when you go back to them, so you don't duplicate and have another layout tab open. Because the worst thing that can happen then is if you're working on a layout and you have the same layout open in 2 windows, you would save one and go look at your result. And if it wasn't correct, if you accidentally go back to that second window that's open and make the changes there, any changes that you had made on the first window you were working in are going to get overwritten and you may end up having to duplicate things. So those are my thoughts for today, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks for being here.